Sony has finally confirmed Venom 3 after Tom Hardy's anti-hero made a quick trip to the MCU. The next adventure of Eddie Brock and Venom is coming. Despite not being quite what fans of the Marvel Comics character had hoped for, the first Venom movie was a huge hit. It was such a huge success that the sequel quickly received approval. The movie itself ends with Eddie and Venom relaxing on an empty beach and finding their rhythm as a symbiotic team. Eddie and Venom talk about whether they'll need a cape and a mask when they start fighting crime, and Venom confesses that he loves Eddie. But by the time the end credits roll, Eddie is no longer sitting on the sand. He's sleeping in a dull motel room. The camera zooms in on a Mexican soap opera playing on the television set, and as the focus shifts back, Venom explains that it's his favorite show. Venom says, "We all have a past, Eddie," as Eddie and Venom discuss how characters on the soap opera suffer as a result of keeping secrets from one another. However, as Venom prepares to unleash his power on Eddie, the room begins to vibrate and shake. Under Eddie and Venom's feet, the scene changes, and the rundown motel room transforms into a posh hotel suite with a window overlooking the beach. This transition has Venom confused. At that point, we notice that the television program has changed. The soap opera isn't there anymore. Whatever happens to Eddie and Venom brings them into the MCU from their own universe. The events of Loki's season finale on Disney Plus hinted at the possibility of a multiversal war, and we know the concept of a multiverse is being introduced in the MCU. Did Venom just got sucked into the multiversal conflict?
Pancreas, so many snacks, so little time.
It appears that Hardy is aiming to bring his franchise back to theaters soon, possibly as early as next year. Though for now, this is just speculation in light of Hardy's most recent update, which confirms that a draft of the Venom 3 script does exist. Venom Let There Be Carnage, which currently has a 60% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, hasn't received great reviews from critics either, but it has received an 84% rating from fans. Additionally, despite being released during the pandemic, it did reasonably well at the box office, earning about $286 million globally. As the first two Venom films were released in October 2018 and October 2021, if Venom 3 begins production in 2022, the threequel may very well be released in theaters in 2024, possibly in October 2024. However, given how much Sony enjoys shocking audiences with fan service in recent films, those movies may also provide precise hints as to when Venom 3 will premiere. Time will only tell.
Good evening, Venom.
Mrs. Chen.
He says hi.
Considering that Venom 3 is still very much in the planning stages, securing the cast has proven to be challenging. Even though Tom Hardy hasn't officially committed to a threequel, there are plenty of reasons for him to return. Notably, the post-credit scene of the movie cleverly sets up Hardy's portrayal of Eddie Brock for a more significant role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In other news, it's about time Venom gave Michelle Williams her moment to shine as She-Venom. When the first film was released, the star said she'd love to explore more of Anne Weying's alternate persona as the similarly deranged She-Venom. However, she only had a brief cameo in Let There Be Carnage. Stephen Graham's Patrick Mulligan is the other prominent player predicted to make a comeback. The downtrodden detective was yet another sob story in the film, but its climax hinted at a bigger role in Venom 3. On that, however, later. Unless there's a creative way to avoid having your head bit off and being crushed by a church bell, things appear to be coming to an end for Naomi Harris's Shriek and Carnage, played by Woody Harrelson. Comic book fans will undoubtedly wonder where the symbiote's creator, Null, is, while new A-list actors could easily play symbiotes like Maniac and Scream. Before we proceed, we wanted to remind you that it's time for you to smash that like button if you haven't done it already. Joe Manganiello has been urged to play Flash Thompson again in the Raimiverse, which brings us to our final point. In the comics, Thompson is a victim of the symbiote drama, and the original Venom bonded with him when he was a brand new creation. Flash is played by Tony Revolori in the MCU, but Manganiello would be the ideal way to reference the chaos of the multiverse because Revolori seems too young for the part.
Sorry that we can't do anything about the old wind in your hair situation.
Osho says.
The post-credit scene from Venom Let There Be Carnage, in which Hardy was transported to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, initially raised doubts about Venom's potential movie future. Eddie Brock only appeared in the scene briefly as part of Spider-Man No Way Home's post-credits cameo, which brought him back to Sony's Spider-Man universe. Currently, Hardy has released the first Venom 3 development tease. The franchise's star recently uploaded a picture of the front of Venom 3's script to Instagram. Kelly Marcel, who previously worked on the Venom Let There Be Carnage story, and Hardy collaborated on the script. She also contributed as a writer to the previous two films. In addition, Hardy also obscured the Venom 3 title by drawing the symbiote's head over it, with the anti-hero's tongue forming a 3 at the end. Audiences have been wondering when Spider-Man and Venom will cross paths, and presumably fight ever since Venom was given his own live-action movie. Venom Let There Be Carnage, which checks the box for his other greatest foe, features Venom facing off against Carnage, who is his most well-known villain nemesis in the comics. The most obvious next step for Venom 3 would be to have the two interconnected characters finally clash in their new MCU Sony roles now that Venom is firmly established and a way for him and the MCU Spider-Man to meet has been set up with both Spider-Man No Way Home. This would make the most sense with Hardy and Holland in picture, as these two interpretations of the Marvel characters are the ones that fans have been eagerly anticipating facing off against for the longest time. This would effectively counter the negative press Sony's side of the franchise received in the wake of Morbius. However, depending on how Sony wants to define the Venom Spider-Verse, which hasn't yet declared which Spider-Man may or may not exist there, it's also possible they could use a different Spider-Man for Venom 3, such as Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, or even a new actor. In either case, it's time for Spider-Man and Venom to square off in these new iterations on the big screen, and fans will keep calling for it until it happens.
Who do we leave behind?
Despite the teaser that was shown at CinemaCon, the teaser's content was pretty limited. The logo from the final sizzle reel was the only hint that Venom 3 had been released. Let There Be Carnage's mid-credit and ending scenes hint at a few potential directions the new movie might go, despite the announcement's lack of specifics. Given the deaths of the villains in the second movie and the movie's final scenes showing the dead Detective Mulligan coming back to life, so Venom might be getting a new arch-nemesis. The mid-credit scenes of Let There Be Carnage suggest that Eddie and Venom may also be exploring the multiverse. Before being transported into another dimension, the two were debating whether or not there was a multiverse, making this explanation seem even more likely, and because of that, you need to smash that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll never miss any of our videos in the future. Fans have also speculated that Venom and Spider-Man, who were supposed to be enemies in the comic books, might finally meet as a result of the post-credit scene in Spider-Man No Way Home. The theory is based on the fact that when Eddie is pulled back to his individual dimension by Doctor Strange's spell to erase Spider-Man from everyone's memories, viewers are shown a small blob of the symbiote that was left behind.
Serial killers.
Cletus, why me?
That's mine. Sure.
In a 2021 video interview with IGN, the director of Let There Be Carnage, Andy Serkis, gave more significance to the encounter between the two characters. And who knows, maybe Morbius will have an impact on the story as well. See you in the next video.